Assalamu alaikum dear students. I am your teacher of class 7 General Science. Today I am going to teach you sound waves chapter number 12, which is included in physics. So what is sound? Sound is the vibrations that travel through the air or another medium and can be heard. It is not G, it is H. Heard when they reach a person's or animal's ear. So sound produces some vibrations, and these vibrations are travel or are moving in the air. Through these vibrations we are able to hear the sounds, and these sounds can reach to the person's or the animal's ear. You can see in that picture these are the waves of the sound which is travel in the air. In that picture you are as well see the sound waves. So natural sound. So in the nature or in the world, some of the sounds are produced naturally. Like natural sounds are sounds produced by non-human organisms, which is not produced by the human beings. Natural sounds. Here is the some examples of the natural sounds. Our world is full of the sounds. Some sounds are natural, such as the bird's song, the wind rustling leaves of the tree when the leaves are moving in the air through the wind, the waves breaking on the shores. When the waves are moving, they produce some sounds. The sound of the thunder, which is produced naturally. In this picture you can see some sounds or the some natural producing sounds like the moving of the water as well as the thunder. Examples of the sounds. So some sounds are made by the people talking or singing. When the two people are talking to each other, they are able to hear the sounds of both, right? Because of the waves are moving or waves are vibrating in the air. Other sounds are just noise, such as which is not feeling good. Noise means which is not feeling good, such as the sound of the traffic, aircraft flying overhead, machines in the factory. These sounds are not feeling good, and these sounds are called the noises. You can see in that picture the dog's bark, fire alarm, smoke alarm. These are the sounds which are produced by these things. How the sound is produced? So what is the process or how the sound is produced? Whatever kind of the sound you hear, any type of a sound you can hear, it is caused by something moving. What is something? Every movement set up vibration, right? Every movement, every setup, every sets produce a vibrations which moves backwards and the forwards. These backward and the forward movements are called the vibrations, which causes changes in pressures in the surrounding air. Sound waves are created when these changes of the pressure is spread out in all directions, right? These sound waves are produced when the pressures or the change in the pressures in the sound waves are spread out in all direction, like the wave on the surface of the pond when someone throws a stone in it. When you throw a stone on the pond, the waves which is produced by the throwing are spread out. In the same case, the sound waves are created when the pressure spread out in all direction. How is sound is produced? Sound are caused by vibrations. Vibration are considered as a disturbance. Vibration is a disturbance that travels through a medium. This vibratory motion causes energy to transfer to our ears as it is interrupted by our brain, right? The vibratory motion of the sound or the vibratory motion which is produced by the vibrations or the waves are transferred to our ears, and the brain get message, and through this we are able to hear the sound. So sound is caused by the objects vibrating. You can hear the sound vibrations when something is moving. When something is moving, you are able to hear the sounds, like the slamming of a door, like the door when you open the door as well you close the door. So both are the moving. So in this way, when you open the door or when you close the doors, the movement of the door occur, which produces some sounds. You can see in that you can see in the first point, you can hear the sound vibration when something is moving, right? You can hear the vibrations of the sound when something is moving, like the slamming of a door. So when you open or close the door, it produces some sounds, like the footsteps with moving the leaves or the branches of a tree. Finger your fingertips against your throat as you speak, or gently touch a bicycle bell as it rings. When you're talking, you can touch your throat so it is moving. As well, when the bell of the bicycle is ringing, you touch that, it as well moving. So in these cases, when the sound is moving, it produces the sounds, right? You can see in that picture, in the in the left side, the ringing of the alarm clock, it produced the vibrations or it produced the sounds. In the another side, the birds are chirping, so it as well produces some sounds. Sounds and light. So in these slides, we are going to compare these two phenomena or these two terms, sounds and lights. Sound, like the light, is a form of energy and can travel from one place to another, right? Sound and light are both is a form of energy and both are travel from one place to another. So light energy can travel much faster than the sound energy, right? Light energy can travel much faster than the sound energy. Unlike the light energy, sound waves cannot travel through the empty space. Why it cannot travel through the empty space? Because there is no molecule in the empty space, and it is not and we are not able to hear the sounds when there is no molecule in the air. So light travels through the air because in the air there is a molecule. So light cannot travel through the empty space. They need a solid, liquid, gas to pass through it because these three things have molecules. Moon have no atmosphere. Why? Astronauts. Astronauts. Astronomy means study of space. Astronauts on the moon use radios to speak to each other. Even if they are able to live outside their space suits, they would not be able to talk to each other as they do on the earth, right? When they wear the space suits, so in the space suits there is a radio which is fixed inside it, and through these things they are able to hear the sounds of each others, right? Without these they are not able to hear the sounds because in the space there is no molecules or there is no air, so we are not able to hear the sounds in the space. This is because the moon has no atmosphere through which sound waves cannot travel. Because sound needs the medium like solid, liquid, gas which have the molecules, while in case of the space there is no molecule, so sound is not able to travel through it. Because sound needs molecules to move, sound cannot travel in a vacuum. Vacuum means space which not having air. So you can see in that picture, the both of the persons wear the space suits in which the radios are fixed. Through these, they are able to hear the sounds of each other. So sounds and vacuum. One way to show that the sound cannot travel through a vacuum. Why? It is to place a ringing alarm clock inside a bell jar, right, which is connected to vacuum pump. While there is air in the jar, while there is air in the jar, the clock can be heated ringing, right? When there is air in the jar, air is present in the jar, so we are able to hear the sounds which is produced by the clock ringing. This is because the vibrating bells make the air inside the jar vibrate. This makes the walls of the jar vibrate, right? The vibrating bells produce the sounds. This makes the walls of the jar vibrate, which in turn make the ears outside vibrate, enabling us to hear the sound of the clock. Why? Why we are able to sound outside of the jar? Because inside the jar there is a air. So we are able to hear the sound outside of the jar. You can see in that picture, this is a jar of the glass and inside a clock is placed. When the clock is start ringing, we are able to hear the sound outside the jar. Why? Because the air is present inside the jar. You can see as well in that picture, bell jar, bell jar as well. The ringing bell is placed inside the jar. No air in the vacuum. When there is no air in the vacuum, when the vacuum pump has sucked the air out of the jar, when the vacuum pump is connected to a jar and this vacuum pump to pump out the all the air which is present in the jar, so what will happen? You can no longer hear the clock through it still ringing. When the clock start ringing, you are not able to hear the ringing or the bell or the sound of the clock. Why? Because there is no air inside the jar. There is no air to carry the vibrations, so with nothing to vibrate, hence the sound cannot travel. Why? Because there is no air inside the jar. All the air is pumped out to the vacuum pump. You can see in that picture, right? Place a ringing clock inside the bell jar and what happens? There is air inside the bell jar, so the sound can travel, can be heard. Another side, remove the air from the bell jar and what happens to the sound? The sound cannot be heard because there is no air inside the bell jar. So because there is no air, we are not able to hear the sound because all the air is pumped out. Okay dear, thank you students.